I finally got the cart working the way that I wanted it to work. There may be some other adjustments that I make in the future, but right now it is functioning like a cart would be expected to function. My name is Kenny. This is Tech Talk with RHT Services, where I build websites, software, and do software development, among other things related to tech. Continuing with the hair build website, as you see here, this is the cart modal that will appear on screen. It is set up with using the built-in Bootstrap classes, so I am leveraging that to my benefit. All right, so if I start, let's start here and reset everything back to the way that it should be from default. All right, so when you come to the site, you will see this here. And actually, I saw some flickering there that I will need to adjust in code here shortly. So when you come to the site, what will happen here is the modal still hasn't been updated, but the fonts have. And if you come down to the product section and you click add to cart, you then get this cart button up here at the top of the screen. Now you can add as many items as you want to, and every time you add an item to the cart, the number of items in the cart will increase. All right, and so if you click the cart button, it will then show you the items in the cart, including the price, the quantity, and then you have the ability to remove that item entirely out of the cart. It also has a subtotal here that you see, and then the final total, which includes the taxes and the shipping cost and anything else of that nature, will be included in the checkout. So this just gives you that subtotal. All right, so then you will close here and it will go away. Now, if you remove all of the items out of the cart, then the checkout button goes away, in addition to the cart button goes away as well. Then you also get the your cart is empty message here on the modal as well. And so the only thing that's left that you can do at that point is to close the modal. How is all of this being done? Well, pretty much all of that is being done in JavaScript, but there is some stuff on the page itself that is allowing that to be done as well. All right, so here is the modal that will appear on screen. By default, it has some default values here that, like the buttons, those things don't change, although the visibility of those buttons do change. I will also add that the cart message here, by default, it just shows that, but it's not going to show by default, really. So I think the default probably should be dnone to be initialized. And then so one other thing I saw when I refreshed the page, and I want to do that again so you can see it. So let's take this off of, well, let's just do that. And maybe it will, maybe it won't do it. Okay. All right, so what happened originally was that I did see the cart button show up initially. So what I'm going to do is default this to dnone, and then if there is an item in the cart, then it's turned on, but that way you don't get the flickering on the screen when the page loads and the scripts haven't quite loaded as of yet. All right, so coming back, let's walk through the code here. So that was the modal that you see here. So you have basically it's the same modal that you would literally copy off of the Bootstrap 4 website documentation. And coming over to the scripts section, what I've done I've looked at other examples of how to do a JavaScript cart. Now, mind you, this is no frameworks. This is 100% vanilla JavaScript. Way they set that up in some of the video tutorials I saw was that they put the products up here as an array with the ID's name, the price, and other information about that particular product. And then I have various methods that are utilized here. So the first method here is to get the cart from the cookie. So when you add an item to the cart or remove an item from the cart, it is then saved into a cookie as part of the browser. So all of the interaction of adding items and removing items to the cart do not go to a server. They all stay within the browser. And then only when you are ready to check out does that request then go to the server for processing and for you to enter your payment information in. So we have a get cart from cookie method. We have a save cart method that basically takes all of the values, strings them into JSON, and then the get cart takes that JSON, splits it back out, and then puts it into a variable, to which then this variable is then set in the cart variable further down. Also, we have the ability to update the cart. So anytime another action is being performed, the cart will then be updated with the quantity of the items that are in the cart. Next, we have the add to cart, and this will check to see if an item is already in the cart, then just increment the quantity. If their item is not in the cart, then you want to add it with a quantity of 1. Then save the cart to the cookie. So basically update the cookie, update the cart count, and then update the modal. Even though it's not visible, you can still update it behind the scenes. So when they do click it, that it will have the updated information in it. Likewise, remove from cart will find that item in the cart, remove it, update the cookie, update the cart, and then make the necessary changes there. Get the total price. So the total price will be, let me add an item here. All right, so the total price here is computed by JavaScript. So basically it takes the individual item price, multiplies it times the quantity, adds all of those together, displays the subtotal down here. And actually that probably should be subtotal price and not total price. Since I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and rename that to be more appropriate. Get subtotal price. Okay, that was not what I was expecting to have happen. There's no other occurrences of this. Then why is this here like this? That's weird. Okay. All right. So maybe I don't rename that right now because I'm not sure why it's only saying there's only one occurrence of that when there should be other references to that. All right. So get the add to cart click. So this is more so of an event handler call. So when it sees that you click a buy now button on the screen, that then calls this add to cart click, to which then you get the product ID from that particular event, and then you add it to the cart. Now the render cart has a lot of stuff in it. What it does is it turns on and turns off things depending on if there are any items in the cart, including turning on and off this cart button up here. So when you remove this and remove that, that goes away. In addition to your cart is empty message is also being shown here. I also have listing of each item that is in the cart. So basically you take that array and then you format it as a HTML format, and you see there, so price, quantity, item ID, and if we come back over here and do this really quickly, price, quantity, item ID is behind that, and then you also have the actual name of the product there as well. And then those are added to the parent element and go from there. Also, if you click the remove link, it will remove the item out of the page, or excuse me, remove the item from the array and thus remove it from the cart. Create product card. So because the items are in the JavaScript file, each of these cards that you see here is being created by the JavaScript. And the reason I did it that way is so that I do not have to keep track of the products in two locations. Yes, I could have put them directly into the web page using the configuration like I previously had it, but the problem became then I had to get the items or the products into the JavaScript array, and well, just putting it all in JavaScript and then just having JavaScript render it out seemed to be much easier than trying to do it the other way around. All right, and then render product cards. So this will render each one inside of that parent container. And so when the page loads, you want to display all of the products that are available to be purchased. So that will then call this in addition to updating the cart count, or the number of items in the cart, getting the existing values from the cookie if there are any, and then rendering the cart or updating that modal behind the scenes. And so this is the functionality for the shopping cart. So the next part of getting this working is to have, which behind the scenes, I already have it here. I just haven't implemented the PHP script that will process it. But what is going to, I have set up right now is that all of the cart products are listed as a hidden, or listed in a hidden field in a form that is defined here in the footer of the modal. And so when the customer goes to click checkout, the input that is here will then be submitted to a PHP backend, which will then take that JSON, split it out accordingly, then create an order on the payment processing platform, to which then it will then redirect for that create a redirect to that payment processing platform where the customer can enter their information there and complete the checkout. Thus, I will not, and this website will not be responsible for tracking that information. All that is being done by the payment processor. That being said, that wraps up this video on how to set up a JavaScript shopping cart. I'll be glad to do a more in-depth tutorial if it is needed or is asked for. Feel free to drop those comments down below and I'll be glad to answer them as much as I can. Also, please be sure to subscribe and follow if you have not already. And for those of you that already have, thank you for doing so in advance. Thank you for checking out this video. Please be sure to check out the next one in the series.